Hi everybody, it's me. Welcome back to Reissued. If you're new here, my name is Andrew. Today we are back in my half bathroom. We were here last to do the stained glass window that you see here behind me that I'm so happy with how it turned out. There were a couple people in the comments on that video that asked how that was holding up because there were some questions about whether or not the stuff was gonna stick very well or not. That has been holding up well. It's been a couple months, so update there. So this is gonna be a half makeover on this bathroom because there's a lot to do in there. So I think this video can be split into two parts. The main DIY project in this video, sort of the centerpiece, if you will, is gonna be a faux crocodile wall treatment with, essentially I'm gluing fabric to the wall. Bam, there it is. Wallpaper is great. I couldn't find what I wanted, and the things that were close to what I wanted were expensive, so I straight up bought vinyl fabric online, and we're gonna be putting that on the wall. Also, we're gonna be painting this room, we're gonna be installing a new light fixture, we're gonna be installing the sink, so we'll kind of get sort of a picture of what the room's gonna look like, and then we'll come back and finish it in the second video. Part of the reason that I'm doing it this way, I've been very aware in past videos, like when I did my range hood video, or even when I did this window video, it's like, you know, when I've been editing the video and I get to the after footage, and it's like before and after, and the after footage, there's like a wall that looks like this in the back, and an exposed plug, and everything around it looks sort of like a disaster zone. And so it's kind of hard to see the beautiful after thing in context. And so hopefully creating the room around the feature will make it a little bit more sellable to y'all. I don't know, let me know what you think. So there's already been a lot of prep work that's gone into this room. There was some cracking on the wall that was repaired by this treatment of drilling holes and gluing it back together essentially, and then skim coating it. And so there's been that whole portion of prepping the walls. Also, the light fixture that was in the ceiling before was strangely not in the middle of the room. So we made a new hole and moved the wiring over. Thankfully, the wiring reached that far, and patched that hole up in the ceiling as well. I'm gonna be going in today and doing some sanding on the moldings. Here in the kitchen, which you may never see because it may never be done, these moldings were entirely stripped down with a combination of a heat gun and paint stripper. It took so long. Yeah, so I'm not gonna be stripping any moldings in that room entirely. A couple of the moldings have been removed for us to be able to put the fabric behind and put the moldings back, so those have gotten a little bit more work done to them. But I'm just gonna be sanding things down a little bit and priming them, just because there was some issues with the last coat of paint that had gone on there from the previous owner. It's literally peeling off the walls I don't know, a sunburn. Is that gross? So I'm essentially gonna be painting it a very similar color. This is the new color, that's the old color. Not a big change, but the goal is to put a coat of paint on there that you know, won't peel off the wall. So I'm gonna sand that down, we're gonna prime, we're gonna paint the ceiling, and then we're gonna get to applying my faux leather wall. Let's do it. First, we sand. I think I started with the super worn 180 grit sandpaper and then switched over to a new 220 grit. I didn't want to rough up the paint too much and cause it to fully peel and create more work for myself like I did in the kitchen, but I did want to remove any paint that was already peeling and rough up the surface enough to help my primer and new paint color adhere and last. I noticed that the worst areas of peeling were between eye level and knee level on the doors, which made me think that the peeling was a result of not cleaning away any oils left behind from where the doorways had been frequently touched prior to painting. With that in mind, I made sure to wipe down everything with a strong household cleaner between sanding and priming to avoid the same mistake. 2 hours later. That was horrible, y'all. Oh, sanding is really the worst. Sanding and stripping things is just, I don't know. We powered through, we made it. I wiped it down a little bit. I'm gonna let that kind of dry off, and then I'm gonna come in with a coat of primer. All right, now that the priming is done on the moldings, I think we should go ahead and paint the ceiling. The ceiling is going a super dark charcoal color called Prairie Smoke from the Magnolia Home Collection. Well, it's actually a color match that I got done at Lowe's. Sorry, Joanna. I have splurged on the very fancy and very expensive real Magnolia paint in other areas of the house,
But since I have to drive a couple towns over to buy it, and since Magnolia doesn't make a flat paint finish that I needed for this very rough and textured ceiling, I cheated a little and had Lowe's scan and match the swatch. Initially, I wanted this entire room to be very dark and moody since it's such a small space and would be a nice contrast to the very light, bright kitchen and living room that it connects. However, with there being so much molding in such a small space, with 2 doors and the windows, it would hardly be worth taking the room dark with so much light trim. Additionally, I was thinking a lot about what features I wanted to highlight. With the white toilet going in on this wall, making the wall dark behind would make the toilet really pop. Needless to say, that wasn't what I was going for. So instead, I opted to take the dark, moody approach on the ceiling. I think a dark ceiling can really ground a room and make it feel much more intimate, whereas a light ceiling tends to feel very expansive and ethereal.
Okay, so it's the next day. I added a second coat on the ceiling last night, and now we're gonna go in and paint the walls.
Walls are going white. Kinda. I tend to prefer a creamy off-white in my spaces since I think it offers a warmer, softer feel than a true white. I also think that if you are incorporating a lot of vintage pieces into your spaces like I am, a true white can make those pieces feel kind of dingy or out of place. So creamy bone white it is. This color is Decadent from the Valspar line, which I chose because it was very close to the beautiful Silos white from Magnolia Home. What can I say? Joanna Gaines knows how to pick a color.
All right, y'all, today's the day. Faux leather's going up on the wall. Yesterday, I got the first coat of trim paint done. I did that off camera because it's like from white to off-white, basically. So not really a very exciting moment, but it does look really awesome. It is gonna need a second coat of paint, but I'm gonna wait to do that until all of the trim goes up and it can get caulked and like finished, just so I'm not having to, waste time coating it multiple times. But yeah, now we're gonna do the faux leather. I think the plan here is gonna be to draw like a level plumb line in the center of the wall, and then to draw a line in the center of the fabric. And then as I apply it, I can sort of make sure those lines line up. It's gonna be too wide for the wall, so I'll push it into the corner and glue it down and then cut off the excess. So we'll see how that goes.
I ordered this brown faux crocodile fabric off of Etsy. I paid a few dollars less to have it shipped folded rather than rolled. So as soon as it arrived a couple months ago, I rolled it myself to work out the folds. And that worked beautifully. First, I marked the center of the fabric by measuring across and dividing in half. I then connected those marks to have a clear center line. Having the center of the fabric and the center of the wall was important to make the pattern nice and symmetrical in the room. My parents are helping me out on this project. It was super important to have some extra hands, especially when it came to hanging the fabric. I measured the height of the room from the ceiling to the bottom molding and then cut my fabric to length, a few inches longer just in case. It was better not to have the extra bulk of any additional fabric as we were putting it up. We decided which end of the fabric should be the top, and then rolled that end first so that the bottom end was ready to start. I cut this end as square and straight as I could with the rotary cutter and mat to have a straight line to start from. Using a level, I drew a straight line up the center of the wall. The center had already been marked where the sink plumbing went in, so I just worked off of that placement. To adhere the fabric, I'm using the Zinsser Heavy Duty Adhesive, which is essentially a very strong wallpaper paste. I wasn't sure that it was going to be able to handle the weight of the fabric, but it ended up working incredibly well. We started the application process by painting the glue onto the back center of the fabric, coming up about 18 inches or so. The drain pipe was already in place, so we had to get the glue high enough to be able to slip the fabric behind and press it in place. We left enough extra at the bottom for the fabric to slip behind the lower molding and give a seamless look. The full width of the fabric was too wide for the wall, so it was not able to fit and lay flat all the way across when rolled up. I didn't want to cut the fabric to width since the walls in my old house were very likely uneven and asymmetrical. With this in mind, our strategy was to glue only the center and come back to glue the sides later. We applied a little glue and then unrolled and pressed it down, being sure to keep the center line of the fabric aligned with the center line on the wall. Glue, unroll, and press it flat. Once we had reached the ceiling, one person held the fabric in place while another peeled back the sides and painted glue behind. I was the other person. At this point, we were low on glue, so I was definitely a bit more sparing in the application, but it was enough to work from the center outward and get the fabric to lay smooth toward the corners. Once the sides were smoothed down and affixed well enough, we screwed a thin strip of wood as high as possible against the wall to hold the fabric in place until the glue dried. There's going to be a molding that goes over in the end, so no worries about the holes. Now we start to finish off the edges. The right side of the wall had a door molding that I had removed previously that will cover the edge of the fabric. So I cut away the major excess with scissors and allowed the rest to sit behind the molding. Between the bottom molding and door molding, there was a small area of exposed edge. I carefully cut it to hug the contours of the molding. I glued this down very well since there'd be no pieces of molding to go over and hold it in place. Now we put back and nailed in the door molding and baseboard piece. I used a utility knife to cut the sides of the fabric right at the corner of the wall, using a paint stick as a straight edge. This was not an exact science, and my cuts were definitely rough. We removed the temporary top piece and cut the fabric in the same way along the ceiling. Moldings were added along the ceiling and corners to create a more finished look and cover up those nasty cuts, a small crown molding at the top, and curved corner moldings in the corners. I think you could avoid this step entirely if you achieve very clean cuts and had plenty of glue to secure the edges of the fabric. You also could try gluing the moldings in instead, if you have straight enough walls. I had neither, so a lot of molding and a nail gun were very necessary. To finish off the day, we installed this beautiful vintage garden sink that I found at a local shop. It was actually the very first thing that I bought to go in the house. We centered the hole on the faucet pipe and screwed it in. The plumbing gets connected later, but not in this video.
And we're back. Yesterday was kind of a crazy whirlwind of getting the fabric up and putting all the moldings in, but it looks amazing. And so now I'm gonna go in and caulk a lot of the cracks, any places that kind of need filling in. I'll touch up the paint, and then we'll get to installing the light fixture and wrapping this up. This light fixture was sourced at one of the Habitat for Humanity restore locations around Atlanta. So most of the stuff that's donated comes from individuals, but occasionally you'll get stuff from store closings and that sort of thing. So there were actually 4 of these light fixtures, 1 in each color, which leads me to believe that they were in some sort of like lighting store as a store model sample. So I picked this up for $90, which is still kind of a lot. But I did a little Googling and found it online, and I believe this one retailed for $1,200. So that's a steal, we love it. All right, everybody, second coat of paint is on the trim, light fixture is hung, so this phase of our half bathroom makeover is officially done. And I love it, it looks awesome. As for the faux leather on the wall, I think it looks amazing. This was not one of those ones where I was like, I'm not really sure this is gonna work. Like, yes, there were some questions about whether the glue was gonna stick, but for the most part, like, I had an idea in my head. That's pretty much how it looked in my rendering. That's pretty much how it looks in the room. So can't complain about that. It's really exciting to see all the components of my house start to come together. I'll be showing you a lot more of that soon, which is very exciting. A couple tips if you're tackling this project at home. First, check to be sure that you have enough glue. The tub that I purchased, I think says it does 1 double roll of wallpaper, so I think we were probably stretching it a little bit thin to begin with. Additionally, I applied a lot in the center when we were first hanging it to be sure that it stuck, and then when we got working toward the outside, we were like rapidly running out of glue, which for the most part was not a big deal because we put up those moldings on the side to hold it in. However, there are a couple places where if there's not some glue behind, the faux leather kind of wants to bubble out away from the wall a little bit, which is quite noticeable if your faux leather has any kind of sheen, which many of them do. So there's some places where it's not totally perfect. If I get bored and crazy down the line and feel like it really needs to be fixed, there's potential to get a syringe and syringe in some glue and then press that flat. Definitely an option if you end up with some places where it's pulling away from the wall. But for right now, it's totally good for what I need. Second thing, I think this is definitely not a one-person DIY. Definitely grab a friend, grab a family member. There's a lot of hands necessary to kind of keep things up on the wall. The faux leather can be quite heavy and the glue takes a moment to stick. So doing this by yourself, don't think it's really possible. So I was really lucky to have my parents around to help me. And then finally, I chose to do this on a wall that was smaller so that I wouldn't have to worry about any seams. I think based on my experience that it's possible to do this on a wall and just butt the pieces up against each other. Again, make sure you have a lot of glue so that you can really secure down those edges. Lining up the edges would certainly be tricky, but I think that if you have enough glue and if you're patient, it would be possible to do a repeating pattern on a larger wall. So that's definitely something to consider. However, I think this would look great in a lot of smaller areas, like on the back of a bookcase or a cabinet, maybe in like a bar area, so you might not ever have to worry about seams. As always, if you like this video, like this video. If you want to see more of my home renovation, hit the subscribe button. Also check out my home makeover playlist. I'm putting all the videos that are related to my home makeover within that playlist, so check that out. And finally, if you think you want to give this a try, leave a comment down below. Let me know about it. I'm here to help if you have any questions, and I love hearing about what you're doing, so drop that down below. And now let's see how it turned out.